It's 2023, and with the announcement that Borderlands 4 is in development, a new generation, a new era of people are probably going to start looking for and playing all the games they can find in the series. So here's a fresh new look at the best Zane clone and drone build. Let us know in the comments what your favorite Zane build is. Let's start with the green tree, since it'll have the least amount of points, and slap 5 on adrenaline to increase our action skill cooldown rate. After that, we're going to put another 5 points on brain freeze to give our crits a chance to slow our enemies. And the last skill point I like to use in this tree is just 1 on hardy stock to up our max shield cap by 10%, just to give us a touch more survivability. And with that, that caps off our Green-Undercover skill tree, and it's time to move on to the Drone Sentinel skill tree Hitman. Go ahead and max out Violent Speed. The increased movement speed will help you get out of some pretty dicey situations when you get in them. Jump over to Violent Momentum and max that out, as it works really well in tandem with Violent Speed. Next is Cool Hand, and we are only going to put 4 points here. We're buffing our reload speed, but we don't have to max it out because it's just reload speed. Let's put that 1 point on drone delivery and just another 1 point on salvation. Neither of these are super important, but a good option to have. The 2 skill augments I like to use are Bad Dose and Winter's Drone. These augments will give us 2 different elements from our Sentinel to cause even more damage. And my personal favorite skill is See in Red. This skill automatically activates all of Zane's kill skills whenever you activate an action skill, and increases their buffs by 15%. You gotta love that. Continuing down the tree, let's max out Violent Violence for the fire rate buff that stacks twice. Even with a slower gun, it won't be that slow. Who doesn't love extra projectiles? Oh, I know. Enemies! That's why we're maxing out Playing Dirty. With it at max, we have a 60% chance of our next 5 shots firing an extra projectile. Good Misfortune is another great skill, but we only put 1 point here because of its diminishing returns. And the capstone of the Hitman skill tree, Death Follows Close. Another buff for all of Zane's kill skills. If you're finding this video helpful, tap the like button to let me know. Let's get to the final tree, Double Agent. Obviously, we'll be maxing out Synchronicity. 20% increased gun damage for each active action skill. And then there's this skill. Zane and our clone get increased mag size. And if you know how to pronounce this skill, spell it the way it sounds in the comments. Borrowed Time. Let's put 4 points here to increase our action skill duration. If you wanted to take a point from somewhere else to max this out, I'd get it. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Max this bad boy out. Another 17% increased gun damage? Shoot, I'd take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Moving on to Fractal Frags. You only get 1 point here, but it gives us a good reason to care about grenade mods while using both action skills. The duct tape skill for me is just meh. I'm not overly concerned with grenades enough to max out this skill. Continuing on to Quick Breather. I find this skill to be one of the most useful skills for Zane, having the ability to make a quick escape while healing our clone and recharging our shield. Chest under quick breather is old you, or old me? This is a last-ditch effort to not die, and man does it work. One to the right is Supersonic Man, where we gain 12% movement speed per active action skill. Add that to the other movement speed buffs and skills that gain damage based on speed, and we're in good shape. Blue Enhance is a pretty cool skill if you're keeping grenades around. On to Trick of Life. I only put one skill here because it isn't like we end up fighting a bunch of people that aren't targeting us. Sure, enemies will pay more attention to your clone for a short time, but I don't feel like it's enough to max this out. And the capstone of the doubled agent skill tree, Double Barrel. This skill allows our clone to also clone our weapon. So for scenarios where you're using an element against enemies, you have two guns with that element in play. Very nice. Oh, and did I mention that when you swap places with your clone, you also gain 25% gun damage? Very nice. And for the augments in Doubled Agent, Schadenfreude and which one is real? I go with Schadenfreude for the shield restoration, and which one is real, causing enemies to be more likely to target your clone once you summon it or swap places. If you found this video helpful and enjoyed it, make sure to check out the video on the screen now.